with a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We're joining you live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago, and it's such a pleasure to begin our morning with you. My name is Kaylee Lewis.
And she is joined by Natalia Manses. Kaylee, it's such a pleasure to be here with you this morning, joining our viewers here on our varying platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and 102.1 Amplia.
Yes, Natalia, it's definitely a pleasure to be here this morning. I miss you so much.
I miss you too.
It's really, really nice to be back. So, Natalia, how have you been?
I've been okay, basically for me it's just the season right now, it's Christmas. The winds are blowing cool. I don't know if you realize, the days are shorter, the nights are a bit longer. I'm very much grateful. How have you been?
Definitely. Well, I'm a very big Christmas fan also, so I'm in the Christmas spirit, very, very happy and jolly. Can't wait for Christmas at all, so, yeah.
What's your favorite part about Christmas?
For me, my favorite part about Christmas is spending time with my family. I know it sounds very corny and cheesy, but I've learned that that's something that we definitely should appreciate, being able to spend time with your loved ones. And also the food. I think Christmas, the food is definitely one of my favorite parts.
Yes.
And what about you?
I have to say the same. As you said, family, it's very important to notice that, you don't have much time with much family and friends these days. People just, go in. So spend as much time as you can. And Christmas is the time to do that. And especially the food, the special dishes that come out, especially for Christmas time. I
had a conversation with Dwayne yesterday. He's not here right now. But we were having a debate between sponge cake and black cake. Which one do you prefer?
A black cake.
Black cake.
But I'm not partial to any type of cake. I eat both. It's just that if you give me sponge cake or black cake, I'll probably eat the black cake first.
I'm definitely a sponge cake fan. I don't like black cake at all. But Natalia, in terms of what has been happening in this space, especially for young persons, recently I saw that Kareem Marcel was selected to represent Laventil West on behalf of the People's National Movement. What do you think about that in terms of young persons having representation?
I mean, it's a good step forward. The PNM is surely showing its initiative in putting the young people for the future. He sounds like he has a lot of goals for Laventil area itself and the PNM on a whole to govern the country in whatever upcoming election that may be happening, right? So I do wish him the best in everything. As a youth, I'm not into the politics, but very much aware of the politics. And being a young person in that space, sometimes it can get very hard, but I wish him the best.
Most definitely, I agree. So, viewers, we're going to head over to Natalia for news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Kaylee. Here is your news in 90 seconds, so Wednesday, 4th of December, 2024. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine commended the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Tobago Division for its historic $42 million narcotics haul on Monday, attributing the success to recent leadership and changes and behind-the-scenes efforts to enhance security. While police confirm Tobago is used as a transshipment route for narcotics, they believe the seized shipment was destined for another Caribbean island. Augustine and others, including Tobago Chamber officials, praised the TTPS for their efforts, but noted this may only reveal a fraction of the crime fueled by illegal drugs and weapons. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has rejected opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessa's accusations of mismanagement in the A&R Robinson International Airport Development Project. She claims that the project faced $431 million in cost overruns due to delays. Persad-Bissessa, citing a report by consultancy firm Mott MacDonald, pointed to poor risk management, inadequate contract incentives, and claims resolution issues as key challenges. Persad-Bissessa criticized NIDCO for poor oversight, alleging the firing of a consultant in 2022 for rejecting substandard work. She also accused the government of rushing a soft opening of the terminal for political advantage despite incomplete testing. Switching to some news of PAN. The National Panorama Single Pan Band Finals will showcase 25 single steel band competing for the title of Single Pan Champions 2025. Initially, 42 bands performed in the preliminaries, with only 25 advancing to the finals, set to take place at the Queen's Park Savannah on December 14, 2024. Among the finalists, 2 Tobago-based bands, Metro Stars and Hope and Groovers, secured their spot in the finals. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Natalia, for that excellent read of the news.
Thank you.
We have some interesting information to share with you guys this morning. We want to congratulate the newly elected Board of Directors that's a part of the JCI Tobago. They have immediate past President Kendra Davidson, President Kersha Thomas, Executive Vice President Aisha Bedlow, Vice President Shannon Moore, Honorary Secretary Trigon Walters, and Honorary Treasurer Tian Charles. So we want to give a big congratulations to the new Board of Directors. You know, it's very nice, as usual, to see young persons taking that initiative and being willing to serve. So big congratulations to all of you, and we wish you all the best in the upcoming year. So Natalia, do you want to tell the viewers what we have in store for them this morning?
Well, for our rundown this morning, it will come, but I think we should go over to our birthdays, because I think that is what people are really looking forward to.
Definitely.
First up, we have, drum roll please, Kaylee. We have Mr.
Casford Francis. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Francis. Coming from us here at the Tobago Updates team.
Next, we have the one, the only Mr. Javon Hislop. A happy birthday to you, Mr. Pilotman. I really do hope you enjoy it. We celebrate this December month together, and I know that you kick-started with all the vibes and the energy, so big up you today, and I really do hope that you enjoy your birthday.
And last but not least, we want to say happy birthday to Miss Kimberly Bruce. Happy birthday to you, Kimberly, and we do hope that you have an amazing day today.
All right, and we're back, Kaylee, to tell them what we have in store for today. So today on our agenda, we have Miss Allison Matulli, author, Global Fulbright Scholar and Award winner. She'll be telling us a little bit of what is next for her and to meet her all entirely. So we do have that opportunity here this morning on the Youth Show for Tobago Updates. And last but not least, we'll see Miss Jade Mejias, a 12-year-old author. You might have seen her on your screens for social media, my superhero. And we'll see more of that as we go on today in today's show.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Natalia, for the rundown. And thank you so much, viewers, for joining us this morning. We're going to be right back. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Please be advised that the date and venue for the Tobago Day Thanksgiving service have been changed to Thursday, December 19th at the Shore Park Complex. Start time 9 a.m. Come give thanks with us as we continue our Tobago Day celebration.
It's the season of unforgettable, magical moments together. A song that reminds us of how our love blossomed. The warm, comforting smell of Christmas Day that brings us together. That feeling of comfort when our loved ones see the magic happening before their eyes. This Christmas, believe in magic, only at Standard.
Are you you thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Get ready for the most magical event of the season. The Tobago Gospel Promoters proudly presents Christmas Village. Christmas Village. Everything Christmas at the Scarborough Esplanade, Tobago. From the 18th to the 21st of December, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. daily. 4 nights of live entertainment. Los Cantantes de Jesus. And from Tobago, El Corazon de Parang, Blessed Messenger, Genex, Bijon Pier, choirs, steel bands, and dance from across Tobago, and our featured drama production. It's a Christmas production you don't want to miss. From toys to curtains, wines, ginger bear, cake, and a kid zone. 4 days of everything Christmas. For all interested vendors, please contact 392-4060. And for general information on Christmas Village, 786-8736.
We coming together, me and my family, meeting together, me and my family.
Unwrap the magic of Christmas and have the best Christmas ever with a Christmas wishes loan from Bethel Credit Union.
Up to 20,000 can be yours, so you can take care of all those Christmas expenses. You could even pay off all your debts and your credit card.
Come on down to where we make wishes come through, because we see you
at BCU.
Visit any of our offices today at 31 Bethlehem Road, Bethel, Tobago, or Mount Mary Lower, Scarborough, Tobago.
You can contact us at 639-8226-660-7358 or 631-1336.
Normal lending criteria apply. Think, plan, save with Bethel Credit Union.
Because we see you at BCU. We see you at BCU. Come on down, get a loan or two, cause we see you this Christmas at BCU.
I love Tobago because it has beautiful flora and fauna, biodiversity, beautiful scenery, beautiful villages and cultures.
Because the people are kind. My name is Zuma Chapman.
My name is Jade Mejias. My name is Rebecca Week.
My name is Mohammed Udin.
Kiara Stewart.
Kaylee Burnett.
Jolie St. John.
Ochi Emmanuel.
Jill Young. Johanna Brown.
Sarah Judah Spinney.
I love Tobago.
And I love Tobago.
What I love about Tobago,
I love Tobago because of its tradition,
because of the culture, the people, the history, the island itself.
I love Tobago for its beautiful beaches, the beaches.
The beaches.
I love Tobago because of the hospitality of the people. Wherever you go on the island, someone's going to be there to greet you with a smile. They'll be going to assist you. They're so friendly, so helpful.
It's local food,
great food,
the variety of local foods.
It's delicious food and activities that it has,
boat and crab racing.
And I truly love Tobago because of its diverse culture and the immense amount of activities one can do when they come to Tobago, such as carnival, going to the beaches, and heritage.
And also the Blue Food Festival.
What it holds, all down to the very provision and fruit. It is just amazing. And I love the fact that I was born on this island.
Crab and dumpling, and my favorite one of all, crab and callaloo.
Because of its smooth texture on the dumpling and the sweet spicy taste on the crab.
Overall, it's really tropical. It's a nice place, and for somebody who loves beaches like me, I love to go to the beach within 2 minutes away from home. Whereas Trinidad, it's, it's so far to go to the beach.
Our culture, our hospitality, our heritage, I think that we're one of the most friendliest types of people that you can meet. Someone is always there to greet you with a smile or a plate of food for like harvest and everything. So I think it's just that, and I really love this great little island.
It's a really fun place where you will enjoy your stay.
Tobago is known for being multicultural.
Although we are a geographically small destination, we leave such a large impact on the world because we harness so much talent and have such a diverse culture. The people that we produce on the island leave traces of Tobago wherever they go.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers, to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates. You might have heard it from our rundown earlier, but if you did not, we have a very special guest in studio this morning. She is born of Trinidad and Tobago. She has moved out and has been making her country proud, and she has been making some giant stepstones for everyone. If you might be wanting to venture into this type of field, she has been making those stepstones. So feel free to listen up and listen to what you can do to maybe get to that point. All right. So in studio this morning, we have Miss Allison Matulli. Good morning, Miss Matulli.
Good morning, Natalia. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Right. So I know you all hear the excitement in her voice. She is, as I said, Trinidad and Tobago born, even though, you know, her awardees might be outside of Trinidad and Tobago. She has that passion for being a Trinidad and Tobago citizen, as she would have shared before we started here this morning. All right. So who is Allison Matulli?
Wow, that's a very layered question. You know, I would say, first of all, most people identify me as an author, now as a global Fulbright. And I've been traveling the world, really focused on youth speech rights. That's been my focus. I'm a graduate of Howard Law, which of course is a huge civil rights legacy. And I've been able to take what I've learned and really plant those seeds to very young children. And that's really been the focus of my engagement in the world.
Okay. And I mentioned, you mentioned, sorry, that you have been impacting little children, right? So I'll get right into that. You are the founder of the Little Lawyers. So could you tell us a little bit of who the Little Lawyers are and what inspired you to start this foundation?
Okay, so I grew up as an immigrant child in the United States. And coming from that background, you know, of course, you know, from being from Trinidad and Tobago, those roots that you're planted within that soil makes you very focused on education, makes you really keen to make sure that you use all academic avenues to be successful. The one thing I learned along the way, and it was really when I got to Howard, was about my rights, right? And specifically about the importance of my voice and the legal rights that come with that. So I really wanted to engage as young as possible to plant those seeds so that students at a very tender age can understand how powerful their voice is.
Okay. All right. So you have been mentioning planting those seeds. So what inspired this type of seed?
Okay. So most people, when I started out, said, how can you teach little kids law? Well, we teach them many things. I mean, kids have a very fertile soil upon which you can plant many seeds. Some say you can even learn up to 10 languages before the age of 5. So you have to think that there is the possibility, and I always tell my kids to reach high. I mean, of course, now I also teach at the university level at FIU, at Florida International University, which is the 4th largest university public university in the United States. So I'm planting those seeds on a spectrum of people. But the law is something that most people are very intimidated by. And I want to make sure that it's not just us lawyers, it's not just judges who know their rights. If you can start that at a very young age, even my two little ones, I have two kids of my own, and they are very fluent in law. So not everybody grows up with a parent who's a lawyer in the house. I certainly did not, but I knew we needed to make sure that kids knew their rights.
And what inspired that? Making sure that kids would know their rights? Is there a specific situation, or is it like a guide that led up to you making the decision that younger children should be aware of their rights?
Well, if you grew up in an immigrant home, you know that you probably know more immigration law than most people at a very tender age, because you're hearing bits of it, right? And it's usually the problems that people are facing, and maybe they don't even have access to a lawyer, or they cannot. There's usually the financial consequences that bar people from being able to get proper legal representation. So I always think, how do we break down those barriers? How do we equalize the playing field? There are a lot of kids who grow up in houses that do have lawyers and so forth, and they know their rights back and forth. So in order for us to really equal the playing field and have some kind of equality in this world, we need to make sure that law is universal to all.
Okay, and you have made that possible for children in different homes who might not have lawyers for parents or a lawyer all entirely. You have made it possible for them to actually learn the law. So I give you that space to introduce your new book, Your Freedom, Your Power, A Kid's Guide to the First Amendment. So she'll be taking us through what we can look forward to in that book and how it can help all little ones learn their rights.
Okay, so when I started out a few years ago, and we went over the little lawyers, so I actually made law very colorful, right? I had to break down the law in a way that's very approachable for children. For the little lawyers, they get little briefcases, they get like these flashcards. I was actually at your amazing university on the island just last week, and I taught just, an engaging game kind of thing with respect to legal lingo. And it was at the Tobago Hospitality and Tourism Institute. Amazing. And I'd like to also thank the dean there, who was absolutely fabulous. So I read from this book, and this is the book that came out last year, Your Freedom, Your Power. And Your Freedom, Your Power, when it came out, it was #1 on Amazon for children's government books. And I think the reason that is because people really want their children to not only be engaged in materials, but read things that are applicable. The law is very applicable. How we interact on the kindergarten playground can lead to legal consequences these days. Kids are on social media 24 hours a day. So how they engage with each other on social media, they have access to each other nonstop. So you have to really teach kids not to really fall into these particular landmines, as I call them, but understand how to navigate the new circumstances of being a digital citizen. So Your Freedom, Your Power. And the only thing I'm going to read from here, which I think for my experience is probably the most empowering, is the dedication. So this book I dedicated to my mother, who, let me just read the dedication. Okay, so to my mother, Adeline, who came to America with $20 in her purse and unlimited bravery to construct a path forth with endless opportunities in this powerful nation. She inspires me each and every day to believe in human greatness and my own talent to change the world. And if nothing else, I want students and young people to walk away with that hope and that just that one seed planted, that you have the ability to change the world. And it could just be how you interact with your fellow classmates. Do you use kind words? Do you lift each other up? I say as we rise, we lift, and we need to understand how to do that.
Okay. In terms of the ages that you'll be targeting, because you have mentioned that on the playground, these type of children are now being handed a briefcase and some flashcards, as part of the foundation. So what ages do you target for this foundation?
So your freedom, your power, well, first of all, the Little Lawyers. The Little Lawyers itself is really elementary students. And it has surprised me because the fact is, so many people don't know the law that sometimes middle school programs want us to interact and engage their students. They're not only getting a briefcase, the whole thing navigates around two characters, right? And how they're engaging with their rights. I tell my students at FIU that you have to, it's interesting to know the law, but when the rubber hits the road is when something really happens in the real world, and how you marry that to the law, or how you're able to navigate the law in order to have the outcome you're seeking.
Okay, is there any possibility of you introducing this book now on the Trinidad and Tobago market for the children at the elementary school level?
You know, I would welcome that conversation because I've seen a number of things happening with respect to bullying, for example. That's usually one big red flag that, we're called into schools to help students learn how to interact as I said, as digital citizens in this world. And they need to understand there are legal consequences. It's not just you get a little slap on the wrist and everybody goes about their way. Sometimes an apology is not enough. I think there's a lot of value in apology, but there are legal consequences in the way we engage. So I would welcome that possibility.
Okay, and I mean, I'm throwing it out there. Any teacher, any principal listening, anyone who is a representative of the education system that we have here in Trinidad and Tobago. Here's Miss Allison Matulli with Your Freedom, Your Power, a kid's guide to the First Amendment. All right, so she's welcoming the opportunity and she is ready and set to go. So it's all in your hands now, Trinidad and Tobago. Do we want our kids to know their rights? Right? So, Miss Allison Matulli, I know you have a lot in store, and we'll get to know a lot about Miss Allison Matulli and what she has next to offer us. There is a little surprise she has in store for us that she'll be releasing here on Tobago Updates here this morning. So you'll be able to see that on the second segment when you stay tuned and you share the live, share the live, share the live.
This Christmas, believe in magic. Enjoy our electrifying deals on electronics that'll have you dancing. Only at Standard.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49SWIFT 4979438.
The future of farming is here. The Tobago Agritech Summit 2024 is happening December 1st to 3rd at the Shore Park Complex. With climate change reshaping our agriculture, it's time to adapt. Discover the latest in farming and fishing technology, sustainable practices, and innovative solutions. Get inspired by industry leaders, cutting-edge tools, and hands-on experiences. Tickets and more info at tags.gov.tt or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Tobago Agritech.
Guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago, so it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to Youth Wednesdays on Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're viewing us here live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. My name is Dwayne, and this morning we're going to continue the discussion with Miss Allison Matulli, who is here to share a lot about human rights as it relates to children, and all about what she have accomplished over these years as a black woman living in the United States. And joining me this morning as well is Miss Kaylee Lewis. She's back. from a hiatus. I wouldn't say a hiatus, but she went to come back, and it's always a pleasure to have you here with me, Miss Lewis.
Thank you so much, Dwayne, and thank you, viewers, for staying with us. So, as Dwayne said, we're still chatting with Miss Allison Matulli. So, Miss Allison, tell us a little bit about what your journey was like so far. As Dwayne said, you're a Black woman living in the United States, achieving so much. What has that been like?
Well, as part of it's been like a dream, right? I think I was taught to definitely reach high, and to not just reach high, but to lift as I rise. So, as I would say, first and foremost, yes, I'm many things. I'm a lawyer, I'm a writer, but I'm also an educator, and I'm a mother. So sometimes I feel like I'm mothering my college students. For example, we have finals that were yesterday. But I think it's really important if you can make sure that no one falls. If you have the power to make sure that we all rise together, there's space for all of us. So as a Black woman, I'm very conscious of that. And I think that we have to make sure that we continue to engage our students in a way that we are constantly sometimes filling the gap of things that they may not know. You may assume that they know, when they get on a college campus, how to do all the things or seek help if they need tutoring and things like that, just the basics. But they may not know that those resources are there because they might come from communities where it's the first time coming to college and it's the first time being away from home. So I'm very conscious about those things.
All right. So you teach, you have this program with little lawyers, essentially, as you mentioned before in the first segment, teaching young children about their rights. I mean, it's called you also have a book called the First Amendment, if I'm not correct?
Well, the book is called Your Freedom, Your Power.
Right.
It's a kid's guide to the First Amendment. Yes.
Right. So we don't necessarily have a First Amendment, but we do have rights in our Constitution as for children. But there would be parallels, in the United States versus here. What can you do? What advice would you give to our local parents in terms of just little steps as to how you could help protect your children's rights from a very young age?
Yes. The one thing I take with me, and I tell even my students, I say, in reality, when you take a class, when you do a course, whatever you do academically, you will take a small slice of what you've learned in that classroom. I'm sure we can all attest to that. But I tell my students to take language with you. Because when you walk into a job interview, when you walk into a discussion, when you walk into a possibility of something else, perhaps even you need an internship or what have you, you want to have the language that is associated with a certain level of learning. So what I tell parents, and that's what we pretty much did with the little lawyers, was to break legal language into a very colorful group of characters that's very approachable, very attainable. So start small, and when you go to an event with students or with your child, have conversations with them. Find out how their point of view is on certain things. You're sitting down. I hear a lot of political talk since I've landed in Trinidad and Tobago, naturally so. But I don't necessarily see kids being engaged in those conversations. So they're hearing that kind of like a spill off. But in order for them to exercise their right to vote, you want to vote at home for what you're having for dinner. Start that process early, because there are little ways you can make language very accessible and very normal for students and kids.
That's very interesting that you mentioned that in terms of being able to vote for what you want to have home at dinner, because here in the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, that's not something that we really used to being able to say, well, okay, you want whatever mommy cooks, you eat it or you sit beside it. That's a saying. That's something that we're used to. So what is it that drew you to focus specifically on empowering young persons or children through legal education? Because your book is Your Freedom, Your Power, Kids Guide to the First Amendment. What drew you to focus specifically on that?
I think it's because I grew up in a situation that speaks to needing to learn my rights. And it comes from my own roots. It comes from knowing how important those rights are now that I have achieved all of these things. But also wanting to make law accessible and normal for all of us, because I really think law is a great equalizer.
It is.
Those who know their rights use them really well, sometimes to prevent others from using theirs because of pure lack of knowledge. So it's very easy to not advocate, not self-advocate for what you believe in, to be silent and to have that silent tongue. If you really are afraid of legal consequences, if you don't know you have the right to speak up.
Yeah, and one thing that we do admire, well, for me, living in the Caribbean, is admiring how liberal. We see that United States citizens are so liberal, and it comes with a sense of knowledge, right? Do you think, how would you use your platform, to encourage, or do collaborative? Because you did mention that you're interested in doing collaboration that in the country. But what are some of the steps that you would take to ensure that the law is so palatable for our young persons, that they become more adept, more acquainted with their rights? And what mechanisms would you use similar to what you would have introduced in your area?
Yeah, I think what's really important is to be on the ground and to be able to interact with people's daily lives, because that's where you really see the rubber hits the road, so to speak. So for me, I operate within various spaces, academically, legally, and traveling as an author and a global Fulbright. I always leave specifically the door open when it comes to the ability to contact. I think it's really important. Sometimes people just need a way to navigate. And if you're able to send them a specific person, let's say, you aspire to come to Florida International University. Sometimes people just need a contact to understand how to navigate that, because it's something totally new. It's foreign, so to speak. And it's helpful to have someone who is, in our case, similar in your culture, similar in your background. You feel a comfort level in the ability to talk to that person, maybe a letter of recommendation, those kinds of things. I really believe in having the ability to have the door open for communication.
Okay, and you have an upcoming Disney book, I Am Because We Are. Tell us a little bit about your experience being a Disney writer before we get into the book itself.
So I feel like drum roll, please, because this is the first time. I chose specifically to reveal the cover in Trinidad and Tobago. This is a big discussion with Disney as well. And when I wrote this book, it's due out this coming August in 2025. It's actually already available for pre-order. But when I wrote this book, did I know it was going to go into the hands of Disney and that level? I'll tell you kind of a little bit about the book business. The book business is pretty much hurry up and then wait. So that means you write something, you put it out there in the world. In my case, I'm represented by Full Circle Literary Agency, which is based out of San Diego, California. Amazing agent. But when you write a book and you put it in the hands, my relationship with my agent is very friendly. So she said to me, we're going to go for the top tier options. Okay. You've already established yourself. You've done this other book. You're doing a lot in the world right now. And I said, okay, go for it. Let's see what happens. And the response from several offers that we got for the book was really eye-opening. The Disney editor specifically, who's amazing, her name is Sylvie Frank. Hi, Sylvie. She said to me, and this is really what sat in my soul. She said, I would read this book to my child every night. And they haven't touched a word, which is kind of unheard of. There was no editing of the language of the original manuscript. And, you know, we're now bringing it to fruition next year. So I Am Because We Are is based on the Ubuntu philosophy, which is the African philosophy. Most people know Nelson Mandela for this philosophy. You know, I cannot sit at a table and eat a meal and be full if my neighbor is hungry. And I think that is what we come from. I think those are the roots of who we are.
Correct.
And maybe history has reorganized how we interact and how we take care of our neighbors. But for me, there's always a consciousness of how we take care and engage with each other, because it's so important. Kindness is free. It costs you nothing to give someone a smile. Absolutely nothing. It costs you nothing to give them a compliment, you know, and we have to think of so many ways, even the smallest steps to bring community back.
All right. And just as we wrap up, because we are out of time, unfortunately. I noticed that the cover of your book has at the epicenter of it a young black girl, and around her are other representations of other ethnicities around the world. Was that something that was, you know, thought out? You know, what was the idea behind all of that in relation to what you just mentioned?
Well, I definitely had the vision, as well as the amazing illustrator, to make the book accessible and reflective of us all. We are a tapestry of so many threads, and I think this book represents that. As does Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. So just before you go, I want to just ask you to, you know, share your page if you have one. When the book does release, how we can get access to it, and even the current book that you have. How do we purchase? How do we get access to it?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, I'd love to share my Instagram, and the book is available on Amazon pre-order. So that is all available on my website, AllisonMatulli.com.
All right. So I want to thank you, Miss Matulli, for coming here and gracing us with your laudable feats. You know, it's quite inspiring, and I hope, you know, young children and parents alike are inspired. You know, with all that you would have shared with us here this morning. Miss Lewis, any parting sentiments?
Well, definitely congratulations on everything that you have done so far. Being from Trinidad and Tobago, we are very, very proud of you. So congratulations again, and we wish you all the best in the future. Remember to support Miss Allison Matulli. Go to her website, AllisonMatulli.com. Purchase those books for your children, because it's very inspiring, and we are extremely proud of everything that you have done so far.
All right, so that is it, guys, for this segment. Just remember to share the life, share the life, share the life. We'll be right back.
Be advised that the date and venue for the Tobago Day Thanksgiving service have been changed to Thursday, December 19th at the Shaw Park Complex. Start time 9 a.m. Come give thanks with us as we continue our Tobago Day celebration.
It's the season of unforgettable, magical moments together. A song that reminds us of how our love blossomed. The warm, comforting smell of Christmas Day that brings us together. That feeling of comfort when our loved ones see the magic happening before their eyes. This Christmas, believe in magic, only at Standard.
Are you
You thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. As you know, it's Youth Wednesdays where we bring to you all things youth. In studio with us this morning is a 12-year-old author and her mommy who recently wrote a very interesting book. Good morning, Jade.
Good morning.
Good morning, mommy. How are you guys?
We are wonderful.
Good.
All right. So I am not going to tell the viewers what book we wrote. Well, you guys wrote. So I'm going to allow you all to introduce the book. So tell me what book you all wrote.
Well, the name of the book is My Superhero. And it's about learning to love your natural hair.
Learning to love your natural hair. You know, growing up, I had really thick, fussy hair. And for part of my life, I also struggled with my natural hair, you know. And sometimes I wished that I had straight hair, you know, growing up on Disney Channel and growing up reading books about princesses with long blonde hair. You know, sometimes that fed a little bit of insecurity, especially amongst young girls and young boys who don't really get the opportunity to see hair like theirs shown in books on TV and so on. So it's really interesting to see that this 12-year-old author has somehow managed to come up with a concept and a lovely idea to represent all the hair textures, especially in terms of Afrocentric hair, 4A, 4B, 4C, and such like that. Can you share with me what was the inspiration behind writing My Hero?
Well, when I was like 7, I used to watch a lot of YouTube when I came home from school, and you know, all the channels, they all had this straight hair, blonde hair and blue eyes, and I used to get really like, why my hair not looking like that? Because I hated this shrinkage a lot, because I used to watch the hair and I said, why mine can't come down like that? And my mom cut her hair shorter than mine, since I didn't like the shrinkage, and it helped boost my confidence a lot, but it didn't take me all the way. So she used to tell me a story, it's not a real story of course, about the kings and the queens of the world, and they had to do challenges to see if they would be worthy of becoming the king and the queen of the world. And one was defying gravity, and they used to put a pat in your hair, and they used to fall down for everyone else, but with the afro it used to stay up. So my mom actually said she was gonna write a book about it, but then she changed her mind. She thought I should write it since, you know, it was mine. So I wrote it, and that's what inspired me to write it.
I'm really proud of you for doing that. You know, I like the idea that you managed to take an experience like that. That is actually quite common amongst most little girls and little boys, and create a storybook that makes your afro hair the star, you know. So mommy, how did you feel when you realized that your daughter shared some insecurities with her hair?
It was heartbreaking. She was so young, being at that age. I had very long curly hair at the time, and I thought to myself, oh gosh, what can I do to I don't want Jade going down this path. And that's when I first cut my hair, and I said, I made it really magical for her. I used to say things like, are you crazy? I wish I had your hair. Your hair is magical. Look, Jade, your hair stands up. How does that happen? Gravity is something that pulls everything down in the world. It is magic if you think about it. How can the afro hair stand tall
when every other hair falls down? How can you part your hair and it stays up? When you're doing your cornrows and stuff in the hair, how come it stays so up and it stands up? That's a miracle, right? If you really think about it from a science point of view, a scientific point of view, it defies gravity.
Yes.
So that's how I came up with that story. And myself, I'm also an author and I'm also very creative. So I used to tell her these things, and then I started just, sowing seeds into her mind about how magical it is, how amazing it is, how great it is, when she started to believe it. And at that time I thought, wow, I need to write a story about this. I'm sure so many other children are going through this. And it took about 5 years. And when I last year said, let me write it now, I heard, no, it's Jade's story. You need to let her share her story. You didn't grow up having that issue. And then when she did it, I cry all the time. I want to cry right now. It's just amazing.
Yes.
Even I wanted to call the book Why I Love My Afro Hair. And I told her the hair was a superhero. She changed it to My Superhero. That's amazing. Like, how did you come up with that play on words,
Yeah, that's a level of creativity that I really and truly would admire. And for me, I struggled a lot with my hair.
Yes.
And it was not until 5th to 6th form that I really and truly started to embrace my hair. If anybody knows me, they know that I loved a good afro. And that only came with understanding what your hair represents and knowing that really and truly your hair is an extension of who you are.
Yes.
And sometimes you try to be like everybody else and you want to look like everybody else, but you can't look like everybody else. You can only look like you. And for me, my appreciation for my afro hair really came when I looked at all of the women around me and I said, all of the women in my life really and truly love their hair. And with afro hair, you could do a lot with it. So, for example, my parents had locks. I have an auntie with short hair. I have aunts with 4B hair. So, it's a little curly and so on. It's such a versatile, hair type. So, it really is a journey to love your hair. And I think for those of us with this hair type, it's really trying to create a level of love.
Self-love. That's the message. Self-love.
With your hair. All right. So tell me a little bit about some of the characters in your book, Jade. Tell me, which one is your favorite?
Well, my favorite character is Naomi, the last one. And because she's my plot twist. And Zaria, she's representing me. That one is mine story. And the story my mom used to tell me, that's in her section too. But I also really love the boy because I know it happens to boys too, and it's not just girls. And people tend to forget that boys can be insecure too, a lot.
So more or less all are your favorites then?
Yes, I love all of them. Mine.
Correct, more or less all are your favorite. And I'm glad that you included boys within the natural hair.
She did that.
Yes.
I was gonna put girls alone. Thank God that she wrote her book.
Actually, that is really interesting because recently we saw where a boy was kicked out of his graduation for having his own natural hair. We are seeing some discrimination in the workplace against afro hair. I remember a couple of years ago, there was a guy who was circulating on the media for having afro hair, and the comments were brutal.
Wow.
So it's really a tough thing for a lot of us to really and truly go through. And I love the inclusivity of it. I love the creativity and I love the positive message behind it. And just for a little sneak peek for our viewers, I'm going to allow Jade to read a little piece of the book, and then we're going to talk about, after she does that, we're going to talk about where we could get the book and the launch of the book that is upcoming. So you take it away, Jade.
Zaria thought to herself, I wish I had straight hair. My hair ruins everything. It makes my outfits, and everything about me ugly. I know. I will ask Mom to straighten it. A few minutes later, she blurted out, Mom, can I straighten my hair? What did you ask me, Zaria? Why would you want to do that, baby? Her mother asked. So I can be pretty, of course, Zaria replied matter-of-factly. Well, Zaria, my answer is no. I love your natural hair. You are beautiful just the way you are. Who told you that it's not pretty? Okay, Mom, nobody, I was just joking. Zaria replied, feeling sad. She then said a silent prayer to herself. Later that night, while looking out her window, she wondered how she could be pretty, when suddenly someone who looked like a superhero flew to her window with hair that looked just like hers. Zaria stared in awe and exclaimed, Who are you? Hi, Zaria. I'm Zana, your superhero, the visitor replied. Wow, said Zaria. What exactly is a superhero? A superhero is a superhero who helps little boys and girls like you love their afro hair, Zaria explained. Zaria hesitated, stating that nothing could make her love that stupid afro. Don't say that, Zaria, Zana encouraged. I'm going to show you just how amazing and magical your hair is.
You could just finish this line and done.
Doing that.
You don't want to give it away?
Okay. I leave it on the clipboard.
All right, cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. We have a professional author, guys. I really love that. And you know what? Just by reading that little paragraph, I could see a little bit about me in there. Because I remember crying to my mommy about my hair and sometimes struggling to go to school with it because you try everything. You want your hair to be sleek and you want it to be nice, but that is just not how your hair is meant to be.
Yeah.
So
and it takes really long for a bun.
Yeah, it really
I used
does.
to get real vexed.
Oh, that is really frustrating because you try to pull it up and you try to, but even though I'm not a little girl anymore, it still is an inspirational book for me.
That's the last part.
And I think that this is not just a kid's book.
No,
I think
it says all ages.
If you read the last part,
the plot twist that Jade speaks about is actually for adults. It's here for parents.
Ooh. All right. So there's a plot twist for us, guys. So, Mommy, tell us a little bit about the launch of the book.
Okay, so the launch takes place next Tuesday, the 10th of December, at the Magdalena Grand. Huh?
Make sure to say it's not.
Yeah, don't worry, baby. Mommy is an expert too, you know. So it's not a public event, but it will be live streamed. It will be live streamed on via Facebook and perhaps other mediums. And we have we would have a proper setup. We have sponsors. That Magdalena is one of them. They actually sponsored the venue for us, which was very amazing. We reached out to Auntie Liz, who did Jade's interview, and she agreed to use her stream as well, so it will be live through that channel, right? So it will have wide visibility. We had the honor of Tobago Media Concepts. They're gonna run the whole visual audio, and I'm not sure if you know about Candice with Amazing Events. She's doing the real backdrop, everything. We had tremendous support from the business community who were all blown away and amazed by this initiative and decided to come on board. We have Blue Heron doing the signage. So you're going to see the logo. This is my superhero. Big, right? And bold. And the only thing that we really didn't have was the opening anthem on a steel pan. So we still need someone. Hi guys, if you play the steel pan, to play the anthem, reach out to us and come and, open for us. You would, be showcased as well. Visibility for your brand, and you'll be supporting a worthy cause. At this time, we are actually doing pre-sales of the book to cover the printing costs. And if you would like to, book one ahead, you should receive your copy by at least the 17th of December. You could reach out to me as well. I don't know if I should give them my number now.
Go ahead.
So you can write this number down if you're driving, voice note it to yourself. It's 479-6629. 479-6629. So again, put this in your calendar, the 10th of December, Tuesday next week, 10 a.m. we go live through the Liz Williams account, where she goes live for like whatever accidents or whatever. That's not associated with TV6 in any way, just the normal accounts. And it will be at the Magdalena Grand. We are also having some amazing boxes, food boxes, snack plates from Kerry's nice and sweet treats. You know, Kerry Ann who does, right? So it's all coming together with a lot of support.
I actually like that. It's a really nice initiative.
It will be a nice event.
I would look out for that event. So I would like to thank you guys so much for coming on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And I would love to wish you all the best with your book, Jade. I am really proud of you for taking your experience and using your creativity to, you know, write a story that is not just only representative of the things that you went through, but all of us. And mommy, I know that you are feeling proud. You know, I know that you are feeling excited. So I also wish you all the best. Okay, guys, don't go just yet. We still have more in store for you. Don't forget to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
I want to thank Miss Dan for that interview. Welcome back, guys. You're viewing us here in live in Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. This is Tobago Updates on Youth Wednesdays. This is the end of our Youth Wednesday show this morning. You know, Kaylee, it's again a pleasure to have you. I hope you make it a frequent occurrence leading up to the new year. You know, but how has it been for you being back? You know, I know you miss us very much. You don't say anything, but
I do miss you all a lot. It's just for the week, but it has been very nice so far. You know, no place like home.
Oh yeah.
So it's been really, really nice. I mean, the Christmas season is coming up, so you have all that Christmas joy in the air, and you know I love Christmas.
Do you?
So much. I do.
Do you? Because guys, I asked Miss Lewis to bring me some, you know, antennas, the Christmas hats. She said, yes, do it. I'm going to bring them.
Gosh, I woke up so early this morning, I really forgot. But next time,
Right.
next
So
time we'll be able to wear
week?
all of our Christmas ears. I cannot say next week to you. But viewers, we want to thank you all so much for tuning in this morning.
Certainly.
We want to thank the persons that we interviewed this morning. It was very, very inspiring.
Yes,
Both
certainly.
interviewees were writers, and it was really, really inspiring. A young person and a black woman living in the United States, children's rights, and then also encouraging us to be comfortable with our hair, our natural hair.
Yes. And what stood out to me, you know, I love the concept of law and, you know, how it protects the rights of, you know, its citizens, and especially where young people are concerned. You know, I want to encourage you young people to get acquainted with your laws and your basic rights and human rights here in your country. It will make you a little bit more patriotic and understanding of your space. So guys, this brings us to the end of our Youth Wednesday show. We want to tell you guys to share the live,
Share the live, share the live.
Have a great day.
I love Tobago because it has beautiful flora and fauna, biodiversity, beautiful scenery, beautiful villages and cultures.
Because the people is nice. My name is Zuma Chapman.
My name is Jade Mejias.
My name is Rebecca Week.
My name is Mohammed Udin.
Kiara Stewart.
Kaylee Burnett,
Jolie St. John,
Ochi Emmanuel,
Jill Young.
Johanna Brown,
Sarah Jude Espinay.
I love Tobago. And I love Tobago. What I love about Tobago, I love Tobago because of its tradition,
because of the culture, the people, the history, the island itself.
I love Tobago for its beautiful beaches, the beaches.
the beaches.
I love Tobago because of the hospitality of the people. wherever you go on the island, someone's going to be there to greet you with a smile. They'll be going to assist you. They're so friendly, so helpful.
It's local food,
great food,
the variety of local foods. It's delicious foods and activities that it has, boat and crab racing.
And I truly love Tobago because of its diverse culture and the immense amount of activities one can do when they come to Tobago, such as carnival, going to the beaches, and heritage.
And also the Blue Food Festival.
What it holds, all down to the very provision and fruit. It is just amazing. And I love the fact that I was born on this island.
Crab and dumpling, and my favorite one of all, crab and callaloo. Because of its smooth texture on the dumpling and the sweet spicy taste on the crab.
Overall, it's really tropical. It's a nice place, and for somebody who loves beaches like me, I love to go to the beach within 2 minutes away from home. Whereas Trinidad, it's, it's so far to go to the beach.
Our culture, our hospitality, our heritage, I think that we are one of the most friendliest types of people that you can meet. Someone is always there to greet you with a smile, a plate of food for like harvest and everything. So I think it's just that, and I really love this great little island.
It's a really fun place where you will enjoy your stay.
Tobago is known for being multicultural.
Although we are a geographically small destination, we leave such a large impact on the world because we harness so much talent and have such a diverse culture. The people that we produce on the island leave traces of Tobago wherever they go.
Happy Tobago
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host Chanel Felix, and whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have. while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Chief Secretary Farley Augustine commended the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Tobago decision for its historic 42 million narcotics haul on Monday, attributing the success to recent leadership changes and behind-the-scenes effort to enhance security. While police confirmed Tobago is used as a transshipment route for narcotics, they believe the seized shipments was destined for another Caribbean island. Augustine and others, including Tobago Chamber officials, praised the TTPS for their efforts, but noted this may only reveal a fraction of the crime fueled by illegal drugs and weapons. Additionally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has rejected opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessa's accusation of mismanagement in the ANR Robinson International Airport Development Project. She claims that the project faces $431 million in cost overruns due to delays. Persad-Bissessa cited a report by consultancy firm Mott MacDonald pointed to poor risk management, inadequate contract incentives, and claims resolution issues as key challenges. Persad-Bissessa criticized NIDCO for poor oversight, alleging the firing of a consultant in 2022 for rejecting substandard work. She also accused the government of rushing a soft opening of the terminal for political advantage despite incomplete testings. And finally, switching to Sampan, the National Panorama Single Band Finals will showcase 25 single steel band competition for the title of Single Pan Competition 2025. Initially, 42 bands performed in the preliminaries, with only 25 advancing to the finals, set to take place at the Queen's Park Savannah on December 14, 2024. Among the finalists, two Tobago-based bands, Metro Stars and Hope Pan Groovers, secured their spots in the finals. And that was on news in 90 seconds. Now, this morning, we will have an extremely interesting conversation as we chat with one of the members of the opposition this morning. We are chatting with opposition senator and deputy political leader of the United National Congress, Senator Jerling John. We welcome her this morning as we chat a bit on the Tobago Autonomy Bill, the upcoming elections, and so much more. But I'm now hearing from my producer that we are going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this as we make sure that our guests are ready this morning. See you.
It's the season of unforgettable, magical moments together. A song that reminds us of how our love blossomed. The warm, comforting smell of Christmas Day that brings us together. That feeling of comfort when our loved ones see the magic happening before their eyes. This Christmas, believe in magic, only at Standard.
good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now, as I announced right before the break, we would be chatting this morning with Senator Jolene John. But before we even get into that conversation this morning, we are chatting with Dr. Indira Rampasad, who is a political analyst, and she made some comments regarding what Tobago might be looking forward to, or her predictions for the upcoming general elections. Good morning, Dr. Rampasad, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago.
Good morning. I am not hearing you very well.
You are not hearing me very clearly?
No, it's very soft.
Dr. Rampasad, you made some predictions about what Tobago might likely be seeing in the upcoming general elections. Tell us why or what would have led to your prediction that the TPP may be leading the way for the upcoming general election, as well as setting the stage for what might happen at the central government level.
I did not make the predictions. I was just making some comments based on a question I was asked, so I want to make that very clear. I do not predict elections so long even before the election is called. The election bell has to ring, and we have to see the campaign, and we have to see the reaction of the population to the campaign, the electorate to the campaign. So they were not predictions, they were simply some comments, and the comments were based on the state of affairs in the country, both in Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago has experienced now some escalating crime, and this is not going down well with the population. And that's one issue. There is that whole issue of Tobago autonomy, which is not yet settled. That's another issue. And the economy on the whole is a problem. A rising cost of living, even more so in Tobago. Unemployment in Tobago. Property tax, which everyone has to pay. So I think it is an extension of the situation in Trinidad. Unions not getting settled or being offered 2%, while others are getting 47%. So there's disgruntlement, widespread disgruntlement in Tobago as it is in Trinidad. The Tobago the party, PPP, what I was saying is that since they are the incumbent, there's always an advantage for the incumbent in an election. The PNM currently holds those 2 seats, but given this level of disenchantment, that some of those votes can go to the PPP, or some may not vote. How much, I cannot say.
Okay, Dr. Rampasad, has any public polls taken place that has led to some of the assessments that you have made?
Not that I know of. I don't know of any public poll. Like I said, I was simply making comments based on the state of affairs. So it's not based on any polling.
Okay, but we know that traditionally Tobago has very different cultural voting history that is determined by a number of different things, and we have been hearing a lot of persons talking about.
Can you speak up?
Sorry, I said we know that culturally Tobago has voted historically very different from Trinidad in terms of the voting patterns on the island, and we've heard a lot of persons coming forward and discussing the Tobago Autonomy Bill and seeing this as also being a crucial aspect of what might sway voters in the upcoming elections. Persons are saying that Tobago has waited so long for this autonomy bill, and it is only at election times that we often hear about the bill coming before the parliament. So from your perspective, do you see the passing or the lack thereof being a determining factor from your assessment?
It depends. I don't think.
Dr. Rampasad. We seem to have a bit of a technical issue there with the audio. But guys, we're going to take a quick break right here. We're going to return with much more conversation right after this. See you soon.
Thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Get ready for the most magical event of the season. The Tobago Gospel Promoters proudly presents Christmas Village. Christmas Village. Everything Christmas at the Scarborough Esplanade, Tobago. From the 18th to the 21st of December, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. daily. 4 nights of live entertainment. Los Cantantes de Jesus. And from Tobago, El Corazon de Parang, Blessed Messenger, Janex, Bijon Pier, choirs, steel bands, and dance from across Tobago, and our featured drama production. It's a Christmas production you don't want to miss. From toys to curtains, wines, ginger beer, cake, and a kid zone. 4 days of everything Christmas. For all interested vendors, please contact 392-4060. And for general information on Christmas Village, 786-8736. We coming together, me and my family, meeting together.
A brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host, Chanel Felix, and this morning we continue our discussions by chatting with Opposition Senator, Deputy Political Leader of the United National Congress, Senator Julian John. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being here with us here on Tobago Updates. Well, there's a number of things happening in the space, and I think one of the key topics of discussion right now that we have been having is on that Salary Review Commission recommendation for an increase for public officials. We heard from the political leader of the UNC that though it is a good thing, it might not be the right time for such a thing to happen. How are you and your team and your party feeling about the comments made by the Prime Minister in his acceptance of this recommendation at this time?
Well, the leader of the opposition was very clear that there are some categories of public servants who deserve that money. They work hard, and I mean, with the cost of everything, it impacts them. And basically, it should be attributable to them, the judges and other categories of public servants. But with respect to the politicians, the opposition leader is very clear that this is not the right time to accept any increases. And as a matter of fact, she felt the Prime Minister and his team should be getting decreases, quite frankly. And I stand by that comment. We know the Prime Minister is one who looks out for himself, his own self-interest, etc., and he really is not concerned about how things look how it impacts, the messages it sends, and the lack of empathy, I think, is really shocking in this case, in this regard. You can't be giving other persons 4%, and giving yourself, I mean, is himself to himself 47%. Really and truly, I think is only somebody as tone deaf as Dr. Rowley could do something like that, and without a care in the world.
Do you think that this would be one of the issues that persons would be voting on in the upcoming general election?
Well, I hope people will vote in their own self-interest. I can't indicate what people will vote and not vote for, but what I'm clear on is that the price, as Dr. Indira Rampasad indicated a while ago, you have the crime that is out of control. We are going to make a record that is a very negative one. Maybe we are going to surpass maybe 600 murders for the year in Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago itself is overrun by crime. I'm a Tobagonian, and basically these are things you find to be horrifying because we are very peaceful people. We have a brand of peaceful, about being peaceful and serene, and that sells out there. So that brand is very troubled right now. People are going to vote on the price of food, how it impacts them, because Tobago, as you know, it's really the Tobago House of Assembly, the state, that provides maybe close to 80% of the jobs. So salaries are very conservative. And if the price of goods increased by over 60% in Trinidad, that has been running, in an upward trajectory since 2020 or thereabouts, 2019 or thereabouts, that will be double and triple in Tobago. So how Tobago people are making out, God alone knows. So people are going to definitely vote on the basis of they just can't make two ends meet. People want safety, and they're entitled to safety. I mean, that is a part, safety is entrenched in our constitution. And this government has shown over the last 10 years that they cannot keep us safe. They cannot give us the safety that we deserve, and, as I said, entrenched under our constitution. So people are going to vote on a number of issues, and I think those that impact them personally, them and their whereabouts and their standard of living, the way of life, those are going to impact, I think, as a consequential within the next election.
Right. And when it comes to the Tobago Autonomy Bill or the Tobago Island Government Bill, where does the UNC currently stand on that?
Well, the UNC stands firmly on the idea that there should be self-sufficiency in Tobago and the way it governs its business. Because, I mean, for me, proud Tobagonian, Tobago is the most beautiful island on earth, right? There's no doubt about that. And I'm talking about naturally beautiful. Now, what we have done with that natural beauty is questionable and debatable in terms of where we probably should have been and the direction we should be headed in. But there is no shortage of the fundamentals given to us by God to get us there. What it needs is political will, and of course, for us to attract the necessary resources and interests to ensure that we can realize our full promise. I therefore believe the Tobago Autonomy Bill, the bill and its companion bill, that where we are interfering with the Constitution to ensure that the Tobago matter is settled as best as it could. Those are critical to moving Tobago forward. But how it is done is where we have the issue. Because I sat on that joint select committee, and we had many meetings on that joint select committee. However, the issue we had was that Tobago itself was not involved in a meaningful way by that committee. I mean, from 20 people are quoting from, I think, 2016. There was a time prior to when you had Irvin London as the chief secretary, where you had multiple meetings with then Hochoy Charles, who is now deceased, etc. But those meetings were held, and those meetings were taken into consideration on what Tobago had said. But the government was saying, let us use that as the basis to move forward. But people change, thinking change, and we were of the opinion that there was need to return to Tobago as a committee to hear what they had to say, and this was not done. And because of that, we laid strong objection with the approach.
Right. And with the bill in the form that it is currently in, and with recommendations for amendment possibly coming very soon from the Tobago House of Assembly, do you see the UNC voting for or against this bill?
as a Tobagonian, you're probably a Tobagonian too. We have certain euphemism that we live by, and you don't count chicken before they hatch. I cannot say what UNC will vote for. We have to meet with a policy position. The way we did in the last time, we were invited to join a joint select committee, and we could have gone through two bills: the Tobago self-government bill and the companion constitutional amendment bill. And there's where we could have come to some kind of conclusion, as a party, and me as a Tobagonian within that joint select committee. I cannot say what will come to the parliament if indeed they are going to amend anything further, because the chief secretary and other key stakeholders in Tobago have laid out what expressed what the Tobago people are saying, because there have been some consultations, I think, on both sides, whether it's those who sit now as lead in the THA and the opposition PNM. I think there have been some consultation. So we'll need to hear from them. And if the government is taking the bill back to the GSC, I don't know. Well, the last thing I heard about this bill, outside of what is happening in Tobago with the consultation, is really the Prime Minister at Mr. Hochul Charles's funeral, indicating that the bills are going to return to the Parliament. So far, that has not happened. So we have not had sight of anything new.
Okay, and what does the UNC hope to see in regards to improvement in the current bills? What are some of the current areas of contention that has hindered the support of the opposition as we speak?
Well, Tobagonians have been crying out for equity. They have been saying that we don't want to be no ugly duckling, and basically we want to stand with pride in this union. I think it was a while ago. I think it was the constitutional part of the companion bill was talking about Tobago will no longer be a ward of Trinidad. But what does that mean? There is no real definition as to what that means. We don't want any patronizing pat on our head as to what that means. And then Tobago was concerned about the boundaries, the economic boundaries, in terms of what are we contributing to this pot that is called the budget. Because, as you know, there was a settlement or resolution as far back as in the year 2000, where Tobago now, I don't want to say benefit, but they are allocated 4.03% of the national budget, which Tobago is saying is not enough, right? And if Tobago is saying that, that is very likely the case. So therefore, Tobago wants more equity, but they don't just want to take it as to say, well, you are giving us something. They are saying within this boundary, this mass of land, space, and sea called Trinidad and Tobago, this delineation, what it is that is really Tobago, and what does Tobago contribute, both on the surface and what lies beneath. And with that, the right of Tobagonians to determine their political, economic, social, and cultural development. And, Tobago wants that to be their right to determine. So we stand with that. But how it is expressed in law is important, because it is only in the law, something you see and you can action. You can go to equity. You could go from here, our lower courts, our high courts, to the Supreme Court in the Privy Council. We wanted to be very clear. So we felt that the consultations were not adequate, and a lot of voices cried out that they did not have the time to express themselves.
So are you suggesting that more consultation or more up-to-date consultation is done with Tobagonians to bring forward a more modern view and perspective on what Tobago wants before this bill is brought before the Parliament?
Well, I can only talk about what we did with the Joint Select Committee, because we had two consultations, as it were, on February 30th April and May 1st, 2001. Those were the public consultations held via Zoom. And I think also, I think that time, because it was COVID was over, you come into the Tobago space and you talk to Tobago, you take the pulse of the people. You go from Charlottesville, where I'm from, straight down to low side, as we say in Charlottesville. You understand? You span the breadth of the island and give people sufficient time. They have been waiting a long time for this, and you don't want to botch it. I agree that people will not get everything that they want, but I think we have to be reasonable and pick up as much of it as we can, because we will not come this way again in in the very near future. So at that time, there was even an online survey, and there was a participation of 195 citizens out of a population of approximately 1.4 million people in Tobago and Trinidad. 195. I don't think that is reasonable, and that could not have been an expression of the will of our people.
Excellent. And so for you, what would you be calling on the current government at this time to do as it relates to the bill before it is successfully passed at the parliamentary level?
When they first had to put it back on the parliament floor, it's not there. So what we are doing, with greatest respect, is to speculate, because the Prime Minister said that at the funeral of one of the great Tobagonians, and to me that was the last. But I mean, in the news, I'm seeing where the Chief Secretary is having consultations. Those from the PNM side, they are having consultations. So maybe they know something that I don't know. What I do know, we received a very detailed letter with appendices from the Chief Secretary, maybe in February. And I read recently, perhaps it was this week or last week, where he said that maybe a new letter, further letter, will come to all branches of the parliament, meaning the upper house, the lower house, etc. So one will anticipate that that will come. I don't know if what he had expressed then is going to change, because certainly you will want to take that into consideration. What is the Chief Secretary saying that the people of Tobago need? And we don't know whether the government will send it back to a joint select committee. So we just don't know. There are many unknowns in this process right now.
So, and we're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back as we continue our discussion this morning. See you soon.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49SWIFT 4979438.
I love Tobago because it has beautiful flora and fauna, biodiverse, beautiful scenery, beautiful villages and cultures.
Because the people are nice. My name is Zuma Chapman.
My name is Jade Mejias. My name is Rebecca Wee.
My name is Mohammed Udin.
Kiara Stewart.
Kaylee Burnett.
Jolie St. John.
Ochi Emmanuel.
JL Young.
Johanna Brown. Sarah Judah Spinney.
I love Tobago.
And I love Tobago.
What I love about Tobago,
I love Tobago because of its tradition,
because of the culture, the people, the history, the island itself.
I love Tobago for its beautiful beaches, the beaches.
The beaches.
I love Tobago because of the hospitality of the people. Wherever you go on the island, someone's going to be there to greet you with a smile. They going to assist you. They're so friendly, so helpful.
It's local food,
Great food.
The variety of local foods.
it's delicious foods and activities that it has,
Boat and crab racing.
And I truly love Tobago because of its diverse culture and the immense amount of activities one can do when they come to Tobago, such as carnival, going to the beaches, and heritage.
and also the Blue Food Festival.
What it holds, all down to the very provision and fruit. It is just amazing. And I love the fact that I was born on this island.
Crab and dumpling, and my favorite one of all, crab and callaloo.
Because of its smooth texture on the dumpling and the sweet spicy taste on the crab.
Overall, it's really tropical. It's a nice place, and for somebody who loves beaches like me, I love to go to the beach within 2 minutes away from home. Whereas Trinidad, it's so far to go to the beach.
Our culture, our hospitality, our heritage, I think that we are one of the most friendliest types of people that you can meet. Someone is always there to greet you with a smile, a plate of food for like harvest and everything. So I think it's just that, and I really love this great little island.
It's a really fun place where you will enjoy your stay.
Tobago is known for being multicultural.
Although we are a geographically small destination, we leave such a large impact on the world because we harness so much talent and have such a diverse culture. The people that we produce on the island leave traces of Tobago wherever they go.
Happy Tobago
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Update. I'm your host Chanel Felix, and thank you for joining us this morning. We have been chatting with opposition Senator Jolene John, who's also the deputy political leader of the UNC. Good morning and welcome back. Now we heard from the political analyst Dr. Rampasad that it looks as though the TPP would be the kingmaker in this political or this general election that is coming possibly next year. How do you feel about that in the grand scheme of the political trajectory that we're seeing here in Tobago? I'm having a bit of a difficulty hearing. Yeah, I believe your mic is turned off. Can you turn it back on?
You're right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I said Dr. Indira did indicate that without the data and with the horizon's still a little way away, a few months away. I don't think she could have made any accurate prediction, and I suppose no one can. What I believe, what is happening in Trinidad is also happening in Tobago, and it is happening in Tobago at an even more acute rate. And I quoted prior to, with respect to the rate of unemployment, given that overwhelmingly Tobago depends on the public service to provide job opportunities. Somehow, we have not been able to get the Tobago economy stirring enough to provide good paying jobs and a wide expanse of opportunities. That is possible because Tobago people are brilliant people and they're aspirational. But somehow the economy has become very locked in, and that is something one has to look at. Then the cost of living. Coming from Charlottesville, I knew what it was. You have something costing maybe $1 in Trinidad, but when you put on that the cost of the transportation and everything else to get to Tobago, the hassle to get to the other end of Tobago, even to get to Scarborough, the price goes up exponentially. So people are going to vote with their pocketbooks. They're going to vote based on the lack of opportunity, because I think people have become very cynical of all the promises and people just coming around every 5 years to talk the same nonsense. But people are not going to be fooled by these things. And maybe people are willing to give a fresh face because Chief Secretary Farley remains a fresh face. So we'll see where that goes. The campaign has not quite started as yet, so I don't want to predict and pronounce on the Tobago election.
All
but
right.
I know Tobagonians are very sensible people and they will do what they have to do.
And how is the UNC currently preparing for those elections when they are announced?
Well, the UNC has never stopped campaigning, quite frankly. I think we are a very resilient party. We are the largest political party in this country. And we are doing a lot of what we call the groundwork. We are very
We're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to be back right after this. See you soon.
This Christmas, believe in magic. Enjoy our comforting deals on furniture that'll leave your loved ones in awe. Only at Standard.
Unwrap the magic of Christmas and have the best Christmas ever with a Christmas Wishes loan from Bethel Credit Union.
Up to $20,000 can be yours, so you can take care of all those Christmas expenses. You could even pay off all your debts and your credit card.
Come on down to where we make wishes come through, because we see you
at BCU.
Visit any of our offices today at 31 Bethlehem Road, Bethel, Tobago, or Mount Mary, Lower Scarborough, Tobago.
You can contact us at 639-8226-660-7358 or 631-1336.
Normal lending criteria apply. Think, plan, save with Bethel Credit Union.
Because we see you at BCU. We see you at BCU. Come on down, get a loan or two, cause we see you this Christmas at BCU.
This Christmas, believe in magic. Enjoy our delicious deals on appliances for the perfect Christmas together. Only at Standard.
Please be advised that the date and venue for the Tobago Day Thanksgiving service have been changed to Thursday, December 19th at the Shore Park Complex. Start time 9 a.m. Come give thanks with us as we continue our Tobago Day celebration.
It's the season of unforgettable, magical moments together. A song that reminds us of how our love blossomed. The warm, comforting smell of Christmas Day that brings us together. That feeling of comfort when our loved ones see the magic happening before their eyes. This Christmas, believe in magic. Only at Standard.
Get ready for the most magical event of the season. The Tobago Gospel Promoters proudly presents Christmas Village. Christmas Village. Everything Christmas at the Scarborough Esplanade, Tobago. From the 18th to the 21st of December, 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. daily. 4 nights of live entertainment. Los Cantantes de Jesus. And from Tobago, El Corazon de Parang, Blessed Messenger, Genex, Bijon Pier, choirs, steel bands, and dance from across Tobago, and our featured drama production. It's a Christmas production you don't want to miss. From toys to curtains, wines, ginger beer, cake, and a kid zone. 4 days of everything Christmas. For all interested vendors, please contact 392-4060. And for general information on Christmas Village, 786-8736.
We coming together, me and my family, we eating together.
thinking about spending Christmas in Tobago? Well, call us at Thorns Place. We are located at the hills of Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port, with rooms starting at 200 TT. Call us now at 745-7306 or 682-8676. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Message us on WhatsApp at Thorns Place. Your Christmas in Tobago will be even more special.
Back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Now, we have had a bit of a technical difficulty there, but we are back this morning and we continue to chat with Senator Julian John. Good morning and welcome back.
Good morning. Sorry about that. Yes.
Yes. Last week we heard the announcement that the screening process for the UNC had begun. Can you tell us about what has happened since?
Well, since the honorable political leader has announced, well, through the screening committee's decisions, of course, 3 candidates. We have returning Member of Parliament Saddam Hussein for Barataria Sanwan. We expect him to win that seat. Returning Member of Parliament for Shogunas East, Ms. Vandana Mohit, who Shogunas East called their home girl. Again, we expect with the work, she'll win that seat. And we have a new entrant into the politics, former principal of the great and excellent Naprima College, Dr. Michael Dowlett. And he is a very, very good candidate for the seat of San Fernando West. Because we see, especially with the crime and what have you, and the position in Trinidad as future Trinidad, education is a pillar on which we have to build our country's future growth, prospects and prosperity. And therefore, Dr. Dowlett offering himself into the national space, his talents and his experience, I think we can only win. I'm talking about Trinidad and Tobago, can only win by choosing him as their MP for San Fernando West. So that is going quite well for us. Whereas if I can contrast, I'm seeing the PNM was throwing out the same group that brought us to this state of ruin over the last 10 years. So that will be interesting because I don't know what they're going to come to the country and tell the country, because it has to be the same old, same old. You can't be doing the same thing with the same people and expect a different result. So, I don't expect the PNM to win the 2025 election.
Understood. And so for you, moving forward into the next election for the UNC, what is the primary focus and who is the primary target?
The primary target are those who have really been affected by the PNM policies of particularly one where the Prime Minister is very clear that he is there to ensure that the rich gets richer and it will trickle down. Somehow it didn't trickle down. It didn't get down. And we have a nation in crisis. And that I'm not into the 1% and 99%. I don't refer to people like that. But the vulnerable and the poor, they are really in crisis at this time. There are no real meaningful jobs that people could make a living. We have a crisis of lack of housing. And because of that, when you have a shortage of anything, it means those that have it will increase the price. So you find to live, people have to pay these extra supernormal prices in rent, extravagant prices in rental. For food, the same thing. There are mothers now who are making the decision of if they have 4 children, when 2 will go to school. They're scheduling when they go to school. Yeah, we have never seen so many people on the sideways, the byways, and the highways, and these traffic lights begging, asking people for help. So we really have a crisis of the economy, a crisis of the way the people's standards of living. And there is where our policies will intersect. People are not looking to the government for everything. They're not looking for a handout. They're looking for a hand up, a leg up. Our people are very proud people. I mean, as a Tobagonian, I'm a very proud, self-sufficient, independent person because that is how I was taught, But they have brought this, the government and its policies and its lack of competence, the corruption, has really brought this country to its knees, right? And nobody, PNM people are coming to us in droves, and they are saying we cannot take 5 more years of Keith Christopher Rowland. And for me, that is sad, being a Tobagonian, So that is, they are not going to vote for him. And basically, I think the game is over, particularly being so cynical to bring the same team that led us to this ruin. We are the laughing stock from people addressing us as a tiger in a sea of pussycats. Now, I don't know. We are just maybe the tail of some dog wagging somewhere. We are treated with derision, and, that is not who we are. Okay, we are proud people, we are hardworking people, we are aspirational people, and we need a government who will bring the policies and facilitate the opportunities that will ensure that we can really actualize who we are.
Right. And even as we wrap up this morning's discussion, is there anything that you want to tell the public before we go?
Very quickly, I just want to go back very quickly to the Tobago bills, and to quote from the then president of the Law Association, Ms. Sophia Chota at the time. She had sent a letter on behalf of the of the Law Association. And just briefly, she said the unanimous view of our members at the meeting today, that meeting, the letter was dated 17 May 2021, was that these bills should be rejected forthwith to effect the meaningful change that Tobagonians have been yearning and deserving to see. Just briefly. And Mr. Anthony Lockie, retired judge, he said, I have to end some letter here to meet the deadline for quoting. He was quoting some comments. He said this bill seeks a compromise, and as a result is a sort of masquerade of an independent state. The bill is a hodgepodge of autonomy, self-government, and an independent state that regrettably may end up in utter confusion. Very lastly, please. The Tobago Civil Society Network said the bills put forward by the JSC would in fact deny Tobago the equality of status and the right to self-determination promised in the bills. So I'm telling Tobago, don't take no cat in bag that people are already presenting for political expediency, right? Stand up for your rights as proud Tobagonians, deserving of what is rightfully yours, that you have waited too long for, all right? And we, together with the opposition, we are willing to work with the government if they put forward something to the parliament that makes sense, that when we in consultation with Tobagonians, that makes sense to Tobago. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so we want to thank you so much, Senator Jerlene John, for your time this morning and making time to come on with us here on Tobago Updates. We want to say thank you to our audience this morning. Thank you for each and every person that stuck with us throughout the morning show and on Good Morning Tobago. We want to thank you for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, thank you, and see you again tomorrow.
I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.